Hello there, friends, and welcome back to more Final Fantasy VI. Last time, we began Sabin's story as he attempts to get his way back to Narshe, and we found ourselves in the middle of a war zone between the Empire and the Kingdom of Doma, where horrible atrocities were committed against the Doman people. But we did meet a samurai by the name of Kyan, who will be guiding us back to Narshe. If we cross this bridge here, which we couldn't do earlier, we reach an open area. And if we walk further, not only do we have this nice forest area, but we also can fully enter Doma Castle. This area is off limits. Yeah, so Doma unfortunately is currently under Imperial occupation. But we can still see some of the bodies up on the top right here. There was so much going on in the previous episode, but I do kind of want to just take a little bit of time to talk about how horrible this segment is, really, when you really think about it, and how monstrous of a person Kefka is, and the Empire for just sort of letting this happen. It's really dark. There's not really a better word for it. When I was younger and playing through this game, I did not expect anything like this at all. The complete destruction of these people in one fell swoop. It was something else. We can even see that the water is still poisoned, even as we speak. Oh, God, man. I guess one other thing related to Doma that we should probably go ahead and talk about before we dive into anything related to the rest of this episode is I think we should go ahead and get it out of the way now and talk about Kyan as a character. So, Kyan is quite a straightforward character that has one clear role in combat: charge up and then dish out very powerful attacks on enemies. Aiding in this, we need only look at Kyan's stat block, where he boasts a high strength stat while having one of the worst agility and magic stats in the game. Kyan is going to want to lean heavy into his strength, similar to Locke, if he wants to see any real success on the battlefield. Kyan's selection of weaponry is nothing noteworthy, but it is important to note that he is a specialist in katanas, which do normally come with an added bonus alongside their high damage output. Kyan's armor selection is also fairly decent, being capable of wearing heavy armor to increase survivability, or equipment that can help bring his more lackluster stats like agility or magic higher up. But if I were to give any suggestions on how to build Kyan as a character, I do have a few key notes for you. First, I would highly recommend funneling as many strength bonuses from Magicite at him as possible, as trying to get his magic up to speed is probably not worth it in the long run unless you really want to go against the grain. But that isn't to say that magic is completely worthless on Kyan, as giving him Magicite that teaches support magic could be a wonderful way of allowing Kyan to fill multiple roles in a party. Physical damage dealers often struggle to deal with enemies that sport high defenses, so giving them the ability to aid the party with buffs and or debuffs can really help them out. In terms of relics, Kyan is going to want to take advantage of any that raise his strength, as that will give the biggest boost to his Bushido damage output. A Genji Glove can give Kyan the ability to go on the offensive with conventional attacks as well, and the occasional bonuses that katanas tend to have can be put to better use there. Now, let's switch gears and talk about Kyan's main ability, Bushido. All Bushido moves are learned as Kyan reaches specific level thresholds or by completing objectives at a certain point in the game. These techniques allow Kyan to unleash a variety of attacks, ranging from counters, attacks that ignore enemy defenses, multi-target flurry attacks, or even a single slice that instantly kills all normal enemies on the field. Now, this all sounds nice, but this power does come at a great cost. Every single Bushido requires Kyan to charge the attack before unleashing it, with the duration of this charge time rising with the level of the Bushido Kyan is attempting to use. Generally speaking, for Cayenne to charge up and use some of his higher level Bushidos, every other party member and enemy on the field will probably have already taken 1 or 2 actions, so you'll need to be certain that the Bushido is worth the wait. Generally speaking, speed is Cayenne's biggest weakness, leaving him feeling sluggish on the battlefield compared to his allies, and this slowness also plagues Cayenne's specialty, which can make playing him frustrating at times. But as with every other character in this game, with the proper gear loadout and the right mindset, Cayenne can become the master of combat, capable of cutting everything down in his path. But that's Cayenne. It's good to have another party member on our side. He may not be my favorite to play with, but I think he's an interesting character and one that I'll be trying my best to make something out of. But once we cross this bridge to the south of the Imperial camp, we find ourselves at a forest. This is the Phantom Forest. There are some undead enemies in here. We've got a few enemies to take care of. I went ahead and went back to the old man's camp at the very beginning of Sabin's storyline to grab some extra items and also equip some new things on our characters. I'll go over that in just a second, but that Cling ability slows down party members. So you saw that Sabin's damage was quite a bit higher there. So that was actually from the barrier ring we got from the Imperial camp that raises magic by 2. This is a very powerful piece of gear. It increases his ore cannon damage by quite a bit. I also got the plumed hat for Cayenne here, and that will give him extra defense. I went back and got more potions and more shurikens to make sure that I didn't run out. We're going to sort stuff. Alright, this is the Phantom Forest. First things first, amazing music, and also great sprite work. We have a recovery spring here if you want to fight enemies. There are a few unique enemies here that we need to take care of. We've already seen both of them, if I remember right. I think we've fought both the Ghost and the Poplium. The Phantom Maze is the Phantom Forest is sort of a maze of some kind. If you keep going through this southernmost path, you will be looping around through the forest, but as long as you follow the signs, you should be okay. Just walk around this log here. One last sign. Let's see what awaits us. A train? I thought all of Doma's railways had been destroyed in the fighting. There could be some survivors. Let's take a look inside. Hey, looks like we can get through here. Sir Sabin! We can't just wander around here all day. We have to check inside. Sir Sabin! Don't worry, it'll only take a second. Sir Sabin! It's all clear. What's with this place? We must leave at once. This is the Phantom Train. It's moving. We must get off this train at once. The door won't open. I fear we are too late. What did you say this train was? This is the Phantom Train. It carries the souls of the departed to their final destination. Wait a second. You're saying this train's giving us a one-way ride to the afterlife? Unless we find a way off, I'm afraid that is exactly where we will end up. Well, I'm afraid that's a trip I'm going to have to pass on. If it won't let us off, then we'll stop it ourselves. Let's make for the engine. This is the Phantom Train. Easily one of my favorite dungeons in all of Final Fantasy. A train to the afterlife. There are some unique enemies here as well we need to take care of, so we're gonna go ahead and set that up. There's gravity right there. That'll, if it lands, it'll have the target's current HP. So it won't ever directly kill you, but it will hurt quite a bit. As you saw, it hit Shadow twice there, but it didn't do the same amount of damage. Angel Whispers are also always constantly taking 1 damage, so eventually they will sort of kill themselves. But they're dangerous enough where they do regular attacks after doing gravity that it's not worth it trying to keep them alive. There we go. Ooh, okay, so we're gonna start from the back of the Phantom Train and work our way to the front of it. There are a few things we need to take care of before we try to go take down the engine. I'm gonna avoid you for a second here. Let's go inside this car. Hello, sir. I'm this train's conductor. Can I help you? Tell us about the train. The Phantom Train ferries the souls of the departed to the other side. Once the souls arrive, they are granted their eternal rest. How do we stop this thing? You want to stop the train? I'm sure there's a way. Try searching every corner of the engineer's compartment. I just gotta say, I love the aesthetic of the Phantom Train. It's the steampunk train, but it's so spiritual and ominous. It's easily one of my favorite things in this game. Might these be timetables? These? Huh. They're all blank. This train carries the dead to the afterlife. It's a little tough to be making timetables with as much conflict in the world as there is right now. That is an interesting piece of story. If there's a lot of war going on, I wonder how filled up this train gets. Wonder what this is for. Why don't we see what happens if we pull it? Hey, Sir Sabin, I think it would be best not to touch that. Oops, my hand must have slipped. What? Oh, thou art truly insufferable. Cayenne, you're not scared, are you? Oh, what dost thou mean? 'Tis not as though I have an aversion to machines, or try to stay as far away from them as humanly possible, or anything like that. Cayenne, so you were afraid of machines? What gave it away? It's nice to have a bit of levity here. So there's a save point right here if we need it. I don't think I do, but it's nice to have, especially if things go wrong. Before we talk to you, my ghost friend, we need to see that this is the end of the road. So the only way to go is forward. And fighting. We have a bomb right here, a back attack. Bombs are a little unique. Hopefully I can just kill it outright and don't have to worry about it, though. There we go. Awesome. Don't need to worry about it. Alright, so let's talk to this person. What's with this guy? He seems to want to accompany us. Bring the ghost along? Sure! We now have a 4th party member! Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Because it's 6 question marks, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the name of Johnny. You'll be Johnny. There we go. Johnny the ghost here is someone who has access to a unique piece of gear, the Lich Ring, which unfortunately I cannot run over to give a description of. So, let's see. Unfortunately, we cannot showcase it here either. But ghosts are a little interesting. While they aren't technically permanent party members, they are a unique party member that you can have access to while you're in the Phantom Train, so I'd suggest you just try it out. Johnny the Ghost is going to be providing some decent support. Look out! Johnny the Ghost actually does fight with us in combat. These ghosts here have access to magic, which is not a good sign. Let's see if we can get to Johnny here. He has access to the ability Possess. Now, Possess is a interesting ability. But I'm gonna try and refrain from using it unless I really need to. We actually can walk around as Johnny if we want as well. We've all these ghosts to talk to. Howdy, folks. I've got top quality items at rock bottom prices. No reason to be overcharging now. It's not like you can take it with you. Sure. So, yeah, certain ghosts within the Phantom Train will actually be the spirits of dead shopkeepers, or just innocent NPCs who want nothing more than just to go peacefully into the afterlife. And then there are some, like we just saw, who will be very aggressive after seeing intruders on our train. Look out! As this one is as well. So let's go ahead and wait for Johnny's turn. Johnny normally just attacks with their bare fists and doesn't do anything too crazy in terms of damage. But it's something. Having a fourth party member to spread out attacks or just to do extra damage is always nice. What's with this guy? He seems to want to accompany us. So there are multiple ghosts that you can talk to who would want to join you on your team. There are actually a few theories on like who these ghosts actually are. I don't think any of them are like canon theories or whatnot, but they may be the ghosts of potential dead party members. I had one theory back whenever I was younger that one of these ghosts was actually the remains of either Biggs or Wedge, and they just are party members here. I have no grounds on like that theory at all, and I've kind of dropped it as I've gotten older, but it was an idea I had when I was younger. But now I have Johnny the Ghost instead. What's with this guy? He wants to accompany us. Another ghost that wants to join our team. We've already got Johnny, though. We've got another shopkeeper right here if we want to continue to restock. I think I actually am going to grab, like, 2 sleeping bags, just in case. Also, if you were wondering, Shadow cannot leave during the Phantom Train segment, at least not naturally. So once you've entered the Phantom Train, Shadow will stay in your party until you have left the Phantom Train. He won't just magically have a solution to leaving the train early. We have more ghosts who want nothing more than to kill us for some reason. Don't worry, the shurikens are making quick work of them. And then we have this one who wants to join us. We're not going to join. We've got Johnny. I wonder how Johnny passed away. That's an interesting story. There is a roof up here if we want to drop back down. There really isn't anything too insane here other than it's just being a way for you to sort of reset the ghosts within the room. Not really worth my time, though. Okay, let's enter this car. We have more ghosts. Can you not? If we turn off encounters, we can see that there's a lot of enemies in here. We're not going to worry about them. Instead, we are going to go over here and talk to this guy. Why'd you block us in? No escape. That's ominous. We've got to battle 3 ghosts now. This is going to be quite a bit of work. So instead, I think it's time we learn about Possess. Johnny aided us in combat, but Possess instantly kills the target of which he's possessing, which means Johnny's no more. But we were able to escape. Ooh, what did you suppose that was all about? No escape. Huh? No escape. Who's there? It came from over here. No escape. Ah! They're coming after us! There are more of them this way. They just don't let up. I believe we've reached a dead end, Sir Sabin. Alright. Hast thou an idea? Yes. The time has come to put my training to use. Come, Cayenne. Yahoo! No escape. Hey, they couldn't still be just don't let up. We'll have to detach the rear cars. That should be the end of that. Well, that brief fright over, we have now reached the second half of the Phantom Train. And we have a save point here. I think with the loss of Johnny and the current shock of being on a train on the way to the afterlife, I think this is a good time to stop and finally use one of these tents. Let's see what Cayenne's tent looks like. Got a nice little green there. Really nice. But next time on Final Fantasy VI, we're going to continue walking through these cars on our way to the front of the Phantom Train to see if we can get it to stop. So, with that said, I'll see you soon.